Today we are walking from Lulworth Cove to Arish Mell along the southwest coast path. We've parked in the car park at Lulworth Cove, which costs an arm and a leg. So we're going to try and do the walk from here to Arish Mell as quickly as possible so that we don't pay £20 a day for the car park. I think it's £12.40 for up to 4 hours, so we're hoping that we'll be able to manage that. I've got my Merrells back on today because I got a bruise from wearing new hiking boots for 14 miles. Not the best plan, so I'm hoping these hold out today. The siliconed Merrells. Just down here.
There's a post.
So this rock formation here, wow, look at those waves, is called Stair Hole. It really is lovely. Lulworth Cove. We've got to walk along the beach, which might prove a bit tricky. I'm hoping the sea's going out. So we're walking along Lulworth Cove here. You can see Paul way up front with the red jumper on. And it looks like we're going to have to clamber over these rocks to continue with the southwest coast path. So I didn't realise we should have checked tide times. So if you're going to do this walk, yeah, check tide times. Here it goes. See Paul starting to scramble across the rocks. I'll take a close up when I get there. Oh, the smell of the sea is amazing. It's so salty and fresh and lovely. I'm confident that it's going out because it's quite wet here and the waves aren't coming up as far as the wet bit. And also it's got that sort of draggy feel to it, as if it's going out. This doesn't look too bad actually, it looks like a proper path, however it does say active cliff falls, so I'm going to have to be really careful, but I'm going to put the camera away for this bit of scrabbling. So this is the rocks from the other side, and now the path looks quite safe. There's lots of seaweed. I mean, that's interesting seaweed, isn't it? It is a lovely walk. Look at all this seaweed. Just loads of it. I love the sound of the water going through the pebbles and then whooshing in. again, this looks a bit of a scrabble getting up the other side of Lulworth Cove. So I'm going to put my camera away for this bit stretch. But look at the view. Look at the colour of that water. And then there's a seagull just bobbing about. And how lovely is that? Yeah, we came up that path, but incredibly slippery, incredibly muddy. And there is another path there, so whether that is an alternative, which would be safer to be honest, we might walk back that way and see. Now we're going to scrabble up this bit. It doesn't look too slippery though. There's Bindon Hill in front, which we'll be walking up in a minute. I'll see how safe it is as to whether or not I film it or put the camera in my bag. So we'll be one of those small people in a minute walking up there. I think there is a danger of rockfall. That's a huge sign. No driving. We've just got to walk this. I think you'd have to be pretty skillful to get a car up here. Another view of Mupe rocks. Mupe Bay. And just by the little rock in the background I'll put an arrow. That's just before Arish Mell. So when we climb up Bindon Hill here, we'll get to the top where we stopped yesterday, just by Arish Mell. Trying to get an indication of the steepness here. Very often comes out flat on the camera, but it's seriously steep. I think I'm going to put the camera away, so I think it would be safer to walk with both hands available if I fall. But just to give an indication of steepness. So that's where we were just now, walking down here. That's a nice view of Mupe Bay. Or Mupe Bay, and you can get an indication of how steep it is because you just can't see past those yellow markers how steep it is, and we are about halfway, do you think?
Something like that, yeah. Something
like that, probably a third of the way then. But look at the lovely views. Lulworth Cove, coming around to Mupe Cliffs and Mupe Rocks and Mupe Beach, and we've got to the top. Hallelujah. Gosh, look at those old tanks down there. They must be used for firing practice when the military are doing their thing. Wow. This is where we stopped yesterday in the pouring rain, which will be the next Southwest Coast Path video after this one. And carrying on down that path there, you actually get down to Arish Mell. We didn't realise it was Arish Mell yesterday. We were looking for Arish Mell and we came up here thinking it would be over there, but it isn't. Arish Mell is down there. So coming back, we noticed a sign, Southwest Coast Path, going down here rather than clambering over that muddy bit. So let's see where this takes us. Another muddy bit. Well, those people didn't seem to think it was so muddy, did they? Still quite muddy, to be honest, but not so steep. Still a bit slippery and dangerous. So we're back on the beach, but whichever way you come down, I mean, those people are coming down there. We've just come down that one, and before we went up that one, each one is muddy and slippery, or just sheer dangerous. It is quite a consideration when doing this part of the Southwest Coast Path, to be honest, to weigh it all up, check the times of the tide. We thought when we saw the sign saying Southwest Coast Path, we thought that maybe there was a proper little path somewhere, but the path is practically non-existent here. I think it's been washed away. It must be really difficult to maintain this part of the Southwest Coast Path, to be honest. But yeah, we just got to go past those boulders, along the rest of the beach, into the car park and away. Whew, what a lovely walk. So we managed to get to the car park and it was £12.40, yay, yay. And we've managed to find a nice lay-by. And we ordered these pasties yesterday and we had a bit of a doodah picking them up. I had to run to get there by 5:30 just as they were closing, and luckily they put them aside for us. Thank you, Cornish Bakehouse. I hope they're nice. Yeah, so the Cornish Bakehouse pasties are very, very nice indeed.
Vegan pasties.
Vegan spicy vegetable. Vegan spicy vegetable.